big hello to you, Darren, and thanks for joining us today.
Oh, Charlotte, it's always good to be with you. Happy Derby. Such a great time of year here in Louisville and around the rest of the country as we build up towards the first Saturday in May.
So much has happened in the last 3 years at Churchill Downs, from the disqualification of maximum security in 2019 to obviously the coronavirus delay in 2020. And then, of course, last year's controversy with Bob Baffert and, the winner Medina Spirit. But the Kentucky Derby has produced more than its, like I said, more than its fair share of drama in the last 3 years. But really, I like to think that KY Derby is so much bigger than all of that. It's an American tradition. It's woven into the fabric of United States history. Can you opine about the importance of the race and the unfaltering, I guess, really race for us as Americans?
As you said, it's a slice of Americana, and it didn't start out that way back in 1875. It wasn't until the early 1900s, right around the years of 1915 to 1912, 13, 14, 15, that it really started to hit its peak, and that was the Philly Regret won the beat the boys in the Derby for the first time. You had Old Rosebud win by record lengths, and then you also had the largest long shot in the race, paying $91 way back when. And yeah, it just that all culminated with Colonel Matt Wynn, who was the general manager of the track. He was a former clothier in Louisville. He made suits for a living, but he was a great businessman, a great lover of horse racing and Churchill Downs, and they implored him to leave that business and join the Churchill Downs management team. He's the one who recruited journalists to travel to Churchill Downs from around the country, promoting the great race. He's the one who lured the first celebrities to Churchill Downs. And ever since those early 19 teens, the Derby's had this massive upward trajectory, and it's so much more than just a 2-minute horse race. Here in Louisville, it's a 2-week whirlwind of events. Last weekend we had the Thunder over Louisville, which is an outstanding fireworks show where more than 500,000 people attend to launch like our city's Derby party, all the events that go on leading up to it. As for the race itself, I think what makes the Kentucky Derby so special, take an athlete like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan early in his career, faltered with the Chicago Bulls in the NBA playoffs. Say they made it to the finals, but they couldn't get over that hump. But he always had a chance at redemption. And you had a chance to get back to those finals the next year. Our athletes, the thoroughbreds, 20,000 thoroughbreds are foaled annually. About half of them make it to the racetrack, but by the age of 3 years old. So now you've whittled that down to 10,000. We close nominations for the Triple Crown, where the most elite of that generation, we refer to it as a crop, right? So we're in 2022. This is the crop of 2019 when these foals were born. About 350 of them are nominated to the Triple Crown. We have a 35 race series leading up to the first Saturday in May, where horses accrue points by finishing in the top 4 positions of races. And that's going to determine the 20 best horses of those 20,000 foals to compete and try to get the roses, draped across their withers on the first Saturday in May. There's going to be 20 of them lining up next week, and it's a heck of an accomplishment to get there. But there's only going to be one winner, and they only get one chance. And I think that's what makes this Kentucky Derby so endearing as a sporting event. And then all the traditions, the pageantry, the food, the fashion, the celebrities, the traditions. I think that's what makes it that slice of Americana that you were referring to. And it will endure. No individual is greater than this event.
Talk to us about the folks at Churchill Down as well as the Louisville community, because I want to recognize them.
Sometimes get emotional talking about it, because especially now that we're in the heat of of preparing to host 150,000 people here, the team that puts their heart and soul to putting this on, it starts almost immediately after the previous year's Derby. You do deep dives, meetings. What are the new experiences we can try to deliver? What can we do better? What did we do wrong? And the amount of manpower and the work around here at Churchill Downs, there's only about, 200 seasonal and year-round employees here that work at Churchill Downs Racetrack itself. But I think of the people in our greenhouse, the team that makes the place look so beautiful with the roses, the tulips, the amount of care that they're out there right now. I think of our operations and maintenance team that does setup right now as they're going. We get ready to open our doors for opening night on Saturday, April the 30th. You have a team of individuals up there with a wash rag cleaning every seat. There's a lot of seats here at Churchill Downs.
A lot of
It'd
seats.
be monotonous, but the amount of care and preparation that this team puts forth with long hours, not a lot of sleep this time of year, and to make this place shine like it always does on Derby week. It's always gratifying, to see the smiling faces, and that's what's going to be so great this year. We're back to normal. Last year we were at about 50% capacity. There were 50, not even that. It was 50,000 people that were on hand for the Derby, whereas we're going to see a crowd in the neighborhood of 150,000 come Derby day. So it was great to have the fans back in partial last year. If we can get good weather, I think we're going to have a great Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby. The Oaks is probably the most famous, or I'm sorry, the probably the biggest sporting event, the most largely attended sporting event in the world that nobody's really heard of, in the sense that it's the Derby sister race. It takes place on Friday, but we'll have 120,000 people on hand. Yet, you watch it on NBC's USA Network, and they'll probably have about 300,000 viewers. So
right.
it's such a Louisville thing, a Louisville day at the races. And it just makes a great part of this spectacular 2-day event that's really become a week long of festivities.
Talk to us about Derby weekend. I mean, what's exciting? And don't tell me about the Homestretch Club. That's my next question.
You want to talk about the field?
Tell me about the field. Go ahead. What's new and exciting?
I think this is going to be an outstanding Derby. All Derbies are great.
Yeah,
some are just more special than the others, and I think this has the opportunity to be one of those special ones. We've got a couple of very deserving. I think the top two favorites are going to be Epicenter and Zandon. Epicenter is trained by Steve Asmussen, who has become the sport's all-time leading trainer. He did that last year at Saratoga. He's nearing 10,000 career wins now, and that's unbelievable, more than any trainer in United States history. But he's 0 for 23 in the Kentucky Derby, and wouldn't that walk across the other side of the winner's circle, not the everyday winner's circle here at the Downs, but the Kentucky Derby winner's circle. It would be a special moment for such a tremendous horseman in Steve Asmussen. The horses checked all the boxes. I mean, he was spectacular this winter at fairgrounds. He likes to be forwardly placed. He ran on or near the lead in nearly all of his races until the Louisiana Derby, when he was fortunate to get an education to sit back and relax, get some dirt kicked in his face. And he handled it so professionally, and then kind of tipped out in the stretch and finished powerfully. He checks all the boxes, but it's a little bit, what have you done for me lately? I thought he would be an easy, maybe 4-1, maybe a 9-2 morning line favorite. We'll see next week once the post positions are drawn. But there's a lot of hype surrounding the Bluegrass Stakes winner, which happened more recently here in Kentucky, down at our neighboring racetrack in Lexington, Keeneland. The Bluegrass Stakes winner, Zandon,
Mm-hmm.
Zandon for trainer Chad Brown. He powered home to win the Bluegrass after trailing and sitting near the back of the field, almost at the head of the stretch. And it was a fabulous patient ride by jockey Flavian Prat, who was formerly California based, who's now going to try his hand in New York. Flavian Prat might be the best jockey in the United States right now. Him and Joel Rosario, and Rosario, by the way, rides Epicenter. But he swung Zandon out, and that horse finished with tremendous power. I'm hoping he can be a little more forwardly placed in the Kentucky Derby, because I do think that this year's race may lack a quick pace.
Mm-hmm.
I think those top two horses, which will be the top two favorites, I think they're better than the rest. I really do. There's some very other deserving horses in there. Anywhere from Smile Happy to Zandon, Mo Donegal. There's a horse even from a lightly raced horse from California, Taba, who's
Mm-hmm.
attempting to become only the second horse in Kentucky Derby history to win the Derby in just his third start. I mean, think about that third start. The only time
Wow.
it happened was way back in 1883 with Leonidas. So that's a long time between drinks, as I like to say.
Sure.
But he could be talented enough to pull off the upset. But again, Epicenter and Zandon, I really think are going to be names we're going to remember throughout the rest of the year.
And then you have a one-eye horse, Un Ojo.
He's going to be a great story. He's going to be a big long shot,
Right,
but
of course.
it's a neat story. Unfortunately, he had a paddock accident when he was very young. He lost his left eye, and he's a one-eyed horse. We had that a few years ago with a Todd Pletcher trained horse by the name of Patch, cleverly named. This one is named Un Ojo, which translates to one eye. And he's going to be a fan favorite. As I said with Patch, and I'll say the same thing with Un Ojo. If he had two eyes, he'd be 75-1. He'll probably closer to 15-1 because it's a great story, but I'm just not convinced he's fast enough. He's earned his way here. I mean, you got to give him that. He won the Rebel Stakes to earn his place in the Derby field, but he's going to have to replicate that and get faster to compete with the best in the field, in my opinion.
$45 million on the home stretch club.
Wow.
Sure, let's talk about that.
We continue to invest and modernize here at Churchill Downs. We have to respect the traditions that we spoke about dating back to 1875, but you can't sit idly. You have to continue to move forward, continue to reinvest. Our iconic moment or signature here at Churchill Downs are those fabulous twin spires that were a last-minute ornamental piece when the new grandstand was constructed back in 1895. Over the last decade, we've continued to reinvest and deliver different types of customer experiences. And, this year, the $45 million homestretch club is a perfect example of that. We took our old the bleacher section in sections 120 to 123, probably works out to be about a 16th of a mile long, right at the eighth pole in the home stretch. And we have built different experiences for about 3,300 people. Used to be about 5,200 bleacher seats. So we've lowered the seating capacity, but we've raised the customer experience. We have 23, they're known as the horseshoe rail lounges that are literally right on the rail, shaped like a horseshoe. You can rent one out for 10. Think of outdoor lounge seating with a group of 10. And I like to imagine VIP bottle service in a club meets floor seats at an NBA basketball game. I'm telling you, this is going to be the place to be. There's 23 of them.
Now you can join for a day, but you can also have a membership for the year, right?
You can, and there's 2,600 stadium club seats that are padded. We also up top there's 73 terraced covered dining tables. There's even 5 VIP lounges that are sensational. It's going to be open up at Churchill Downs for about 19 premium days over the course of the year. If you're looking for a last minute great experience to the Derby, it's not for everyone. The tickets are, we sell them in a 2-day package. They can be pricey. It's $2,750 for a seat in that club, but it's all inclusive for both Oaks and Derby. That includes food, alcoholic beverages, etc. And you're going to get a prime location right down the middle of the home stretch, hence the home stretch club. This is a teaser of, we've done 3 years worth of projects, Charlotte. For next year, we're going to unveil a permanent build out on the first turn. And then in 2024, we're going to be announcing plans very soon on the details of a completely different paddock redesign for 2024, and that would coincide with our 150th Kentucky Derby. So we continue to move the ball forward here at the Downs.
Big presidential question. Is it true Donald Trump will be hosting a fundraiser at KY Derby this year?
We have a policy of not confirming the attendance of any celebrities
or presidents.
Churchill Downs never coordinates political fundraising efforts. Now, it's not saying that that may not occur. Right. You'd have to get confirmation from the former president himself.
Might even have to go home and make some hot browns. I'm thinking, the secret is the candied bacon.
Make the pimento cheese. You got to do that.
Yeah.
That's a proper Kentucky, delicacy.
Sure.
But most importantly, you have to sip a Woodford Reserve mint julep. Make sure you have one of those as well.
I've got it all. I've got Woodford Reserve, and don't laugh, I got to have my 4 seasons.
It's all right.
My 4 roses. That's what 4 roses. I got to have a little bit of everything. Bourbon is my house drink. Before you depart, what time and where can we watch the race?
You're going to want to set your DVRs on Friday. The Kentucky Oaks will air from 1 until 6 p.m. on the USA Network. That's part of the NBC property. And then on Saturday from noon until 2:30 Eastern, all these times are Eastern, it'll air on the undercard, will air on USA Network. And then starting from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m., it'll be on NBC proper. NBC will be showing the Kentucky Derby. Post time for the Derby itself, it's going to be race 12 of 14 on Saturday, May the 7th. And it'll go off at approximately 6:57 p.m. Eastern.
Or just start planning a great Kentucky Derby day party at home.
Yeah, and then log on to twinspires.com, set up an account, and place your Derby wagers there.
Thanks for viewing our content on Pet Buzz Plus.